So I've just left these into their grass. They were in there for the last 3 days. It's the 22nd of November and today is a Wednesday, I believe, and it's a grass day. When I say it's a grass day, I mean it's a day I only give them grass. So it's the 4th day, would it be? Yeah, because the last time I gave them grass was 3 days ago. Yeah, I think that's right. But anyhow, I've given them a slightly larger area today. Well, I could have halved this, but I said I'd give them the full lot because you can see in here we have rushes in there. It's a little bit soft. So I've allowed them to have access to this dry spot. I could have given them the dry spot and then opened up the wet spot tomorrow. But look, it's not much difference anyhow. So we have our lead cow in here, Black Maverick, White Clare's daughter, the Roney lady, and our lead cow's daughter. So they have this grass for the next 24 hours and I will top them up tomorrow. This lady now was given plenty silage yesterday, but you can see now in front of her hip there, you have the death triangle, they call it. She's empty looking this morning, and it just tells me that this cow here is a high maintenance cow. I mean, I gave her lots of silage. She has the frame of her mother, which was a Frisian. Now she does flesh up well and she lasts well over the winter time, but I just hate seeing that empty look. Even though I gave her loads to eat yesterday. If I come back in an hour's time now, having given them that grass, she probably will look a bit fuller looking. But she's the only cow that shows that empty look much. She's just a high maintenance animal. So as I say, she is earmarked for a new postcode. She's a big framed animal. So yeah, let me just show what I was on for the last 3 days. There's a dry spot just inside the fence there also, and it gets wetter as it goes over towards that planting. So there's a nice spread of dung and we can see the residue of our silage here also. So this won't be, there'll be nothing back on this now until next, it could even be March, and that lead cow won't be here. It'll be them few small cattle and maybe a couple of the Waylands below. So I'm going to go down to the rest of the cattle now. It's grass day also for them, so I'm going to move them and I will be back early. So today I get my jobs done really quick, which is great. So the 22nd of November. Actually real quick as well, they were here a week ago. You can see the greening up already. And there's my phone ringing. So there is all the dung and the little bit of picking that's coming all the time, which is absolutely amazing. So what they're grazing today, what they did graze the last 3 days and 3 days a week before. I better answer this, so I'll be back in a sec. November 22nd, grass day. Let me put on this brake. So they have had a day's grass and 2 days silage in that little cell there. So this is the 1, 2, 3rd cell of this field here. So I'm going to go and count out my 21 steps, which is a random number that I've decided to use this year with this size of a herd. We can see our 2 bull calves and our little Galloway have decided to make their own moves. Well, they kind of do that themselves anyhow. So I'm going to go out 21 steps. You can see that they've done a little bit of picking there also. They're starting to graze more and more of it, I find, but it's okay. So I'd say I have one and another one and a little bit behind that hedge. So that's 3. I have 6 more days on this hill. Yeah, so today is a typical dry day. It's overcast and we have a damp, misty rain. You know, if you look up on the weather apps and look at the radar, it will tell you that there is no precipitation for the next 60 minutes. But it's the kind of wind and air that would wet you, because we tend to stay out in it and it sticks to you. A drizzle. So I'm going to make my fence. It takes about 10 posts to get from here up to that far ditch up there, that lovely tidy ditch that is maintained by the man on the far side of it. So it's 21 steps out this way and about 55 paces up as far as that hedge. So that will be our little area for today. My drinker is turned upside down actually. What's going on here? Why is there no water? That's at the popping out. Now here's the thing. There's my drinker. There's a non-flow stopper in this. When it comes off the ball cock, it automatically stops. I must check that out afterwards. So anyhow, they'll be on grass today. The grass is wet. They won't be overly thirsty anyway if I didn't get it sorted. But I will get it sorted. And they probably are a bit thirsty. You can see that they've been hanging around the drinker there. Because they've been on dry silage for the last night. Okay, I'm going to straighten this out. These things can happen. I'll move them and I'll be back. So I'm after putting out my fence, and my head is not with it today at all. I forgot to carry my reel. Now, normally I would tie my reel on the first fence, and as I'm putting down my pegs, I would slip the reel or the tape into the post. Not the top one, but this one here. In there. Meant to keep the calves in, but it's not really working. So I have to go back on myself now as well. So it's all about how many times you have to go up and down your fence line. You obviously want to keep that to a minimum. You don't want to be putting in your pegs and going back on yourself, and putting in your string and going back on yourself, and getting your power and going back on yourself. You want to be able to just do it in one pass. That's the phrase I'm looking for. In one pass. So I obviously didn't do that, but on a small scale, it's not a big deal. But if you have 100 cattle and you're moving them, you want to make sure you get it down to a minimum of one. So let me just go and put in my reel, and I'll be back in a sec. Shaky cam, my apologies. Okay, so here we go. We have our fence in. That's what they're going to have in 3 days' time, which will be... No, they'll be here for 3 days, and on the 4th day they'll go in here, and there's about half that area on the far side of that hedge also. So as I say, 6 days. I might be able to squeeze 7. So 3.5 and 3.5 would be 7, a full week. So I'm really trying to hold back the herd as long as I possibly can. So there is nice woolly stuff in between them rushes. I find it tends to be the stronger, more woollier picking, I have noticed. Well, maybe it's just that the calves are going for the more luscious green stuff that's out in the open. But you can see that there is tall, long grass in here for them to pull out of, and they will clean all that up. So we have a nice bit left. As I say, 24 hours of grass, another 24 hours of silage and grass, and then a full day of silage. So the cattle are there standing nice and quietly. I think the sun is starting to come out. It's getting bright up there as I get drowned in the mist and the drizzle. I'm going to open this fence up and let them in. If I can do it single-handedly, I will leave the camera recording. But I may not be able to. I'll have a little walk through and what it looks like where they have been for the last 3 days. You know what, I'm going to stop this for a sec. Okay, so there we go. The 2 Galloways went in first. We can get a look to see if they're empty. Look at this side. They're not empty, but they're not amazingly full either. So it's okay. We're okay. They'll be full in about an hour's time. Maverick, you keep coming now. So that's them all with their heads down. They can graze and pick It's amazing, actually. I noticed that the last day when I moved them as well, they went for the grass that's lying at the bottom of the ditch. It tends to be sweeter in there. I don't know, is it that there's water lying in it? And the nutrients from all over the place are flowing down in the drain and they're getting that sweet picking. But they see that there now? They all tend to go to the first bit of grass they go for is down in the drain itself. That has to be it. There'll be more nutrients in that grass, I'd say, with all the runoff. So this is where they have been. As I say, a nice spread of dung and litter, residue from the silage. So that's where I had a pile of stuff yesterday, and you can see how well they cleaned it up, and there's no marks much on the ground from their hoofs. So this is the dry field, especially right where I'm pointing the camera now, and you have your wetter spots where them rushes are, and even at that they don't do much holing. Maybe a little bit around there, but that'll all settle down in time. Gravity, rain and the elements are a great healer of soil and land. Yeah, so there was a little bit of fence walking here. I'll blame the bull on that. He tends to, as you saw before in previous videos, that he likes to get his head down underneath that wire on his knees. So there's a little bit of fence walking there. So I've gone 21 yards with each little cell this time. The next time I will go 25 yards or 30 yards, but definitely not 21, because as I say, you can create lines and walkways, and I don't like that. So you just want to change it up constantly. So that is the cattle with their heads down for the next 24 hours. So tomorrow we'll be feeding silage, which will be a Thursday. So today is the 22nd of November. I've said enough for today, I suppose. So I'll leave it at that, and I'll be back again very shortly. So for now, I will say good luck and goodbye.